When you let go, everything changes. Section 3, the practice of emptying the mind. A story retold in a small mountain village. Mist drifted through pine trees like the breath of an ancient spirit. A scholar, proud and restless, arrived to meet the Zen master who was said to hold the secret of peace. He bowed politely, but his eyes were full of impatience. He had studied every scripture, argued every philosophy. He came not to listen, but to prove his knowledge. The master, old and serene, invited him to sit. Without a word, he began to pour tea. The scholar watched as the steaming liquid rose to the rim, then overflowed, spilling across the table and onto the floor. "Stop! The cup is full," he cried. The master smiled. "Yes, and so are you." The scholar fell silent. In that silence, something shifted. The lesson had already been given. Understanding the cup. The cup is the mind, the tea is life. When our minds are full of opinions, memories, and fears, there is no room for truth. Every drop of tea that spills is a moment wasted in resistance. We want to learn, but we also want to be right. We seek wisdom, yet fear being wrong. To empty the cup is to release the need to know, to make space for direct experience. The master did not criticize the scholar. He simply showed him the mirror of his own mind. Overflowing, restless, proud. Humility, the first step to letting go. Letting go begins with humility. It is admitting, "I don't know." To say "I don't know" is not ignorance, it is openness. It is the beginning of learning. A full mind cannot learn. An empty mind absorbs everything like fertile soil after the rain. Humility softens the heart. It turns the search for enlightenment into an act of listening. When you are humble, life itself becomes the teacher. The noise we carry. Most minds are like crowded markets, vendors shouting opinions, memories calling for attention, dreams and regrets bargaining for power. Amid this noise, silence becomes invisible. Yet the truth of the Buddha is whispered only in silence. Sit quietly and listen. What is the loudest voice in your mind right now? Is it fear, desire, self-criticism? Every time you identify one voice, you have already stepped back from it. You are no longer inside the market. You are the observer at the gate. That step back is the beginning of emptiness. Why we fear emptiness. Emptiness terrifies the ego. It believes that if it lets go of thoughts and identities, it will disappear. But emptiness is not annihilation. It is spaciousness, the boundless field where peace grows. The Buddha called it shunyata, the openness through which all things arise. In that space, you are not nothing. You are everything, the awareness in which all forms appear and vanish. To enter emptiness is not to die, it is to finally breathe. Practical exercise. The cup meditation. Soft background, sound of pouring water. Take a cup and fill it halfway with water. Hold it in your hands. Look at the water and imagine it as your thoughts. See how even a small movement makes ripples. Now slowly pour some water out until the cup is almost empty. Notice how light it feels. As you pour, whisper inwardly, "I release." Repeat until the cup is empty. Then close your eyes. Feel the space inside the cup. That space represents your inner stillness, always present, even when filled with thoughts. When you open your eyes, remember, true wisdom enters only into an empty vessel. Letting go of knowledge. Knowledge is useful until it becomes a wall. We collect ideas about what the Dharma is, what enlightenment feels like, what kind of person we should be. Then we live imprisoned by those ideas. Real understanding is fluid. It changes with each moment, each breath. The Buddha said, "My teaching is like a raft. Use it to cross the river, but do not carry it once you reach the shore." To let go is to set down the raft, to realize that even teachings are temporary tools. Emptiness and creativity. Artists, poets, and musicians understand emptiness. Before every creation, there is silence, a blank page, a pause, a breath. From that emptiness, inspiration arises. The same is true in life. If you want new experiences, you must make room for them. Emptying is not the end of creativity, it is its beginning. When the heart is empty of fear, it becomes full of imagination. The full cup of modern life. Today's world glorifies fullness, full schedules, full inboxes, full houses. We are drowning in content but starving for meaning. To empty the cup is a radical act. It means turning off the noise, putting down the phone, and daring to do nothing for a while. In that nothing, the soul remembers its own rhythm. You realize that peace was never lost. It was just buried under too much tea. How to practice emptying the mind daily. Morning stillness. Before you touch your phone, sit for 3 breaths. Feel the quiet of dawn. Let thoughts pass like clouds. The pause. Throughout the day, when you feel rushed, stop for 2 seconds. Ask, what am I holding right now? Release one unnecessary thought. Evening pouring. Before sleep, imagine pouring out all worries of the day. Picture them leaving your body with every exhale. Weekly silence. Choose 1 hour each week without talking, music, or screens. Let the silence refill your cup with clarity. These small rituals slowly empty the overflow, leaving only peace, the wisdom of beginners. In Zen, they call it shoshin, the beginner's mind. It is the mind that sees everything as new. The beginner's mind is empty but alive, curious but not demanding. When you live this way, even ordinary things sparkle. A drop of dew, a breath of air, a stranger's smile. Letting go restores the beginner's wonder. You stop saying, "I've seen this before," and start whispering, "How amazing that it exists at all." The ripple effect of emptiness. When one person practices emptiness, the world around them changes. Their calm becomes contagious. Their presence quiets chaos. Like a still pond reflecting the moon, a peaceful mind reflects peace outwardly. The greatest teaching you can offer others is the serenity of your own being. You don't have to preach. You simply live as an empty cup, available, open, kind. Beyond concept, living the parable. The story of the overflowing cup is not just about learning. It's about living differently. It invites us to meet every moment as a student, see each encounter as new tea being poured. Sometimes life overflows, pain, change, uncertainty. Instead of shouting, "Stop," we can smile and say, time to empty again. Every difficulty becomes a reminder to release. Every loss, a gentle master pouring one more drop of wisdom. Emptying and receiving. Imagine that the universe is constantly pouring grace, love, insight, peace. They rain down endlessly. But if your cup is already full of self, how can grace enter? Letting go is not deprivation. It is readiness to receive. Every exhale invites the next inhale. Every letting go prepares the heart for a deeper love. A monk's reflection. A young monk once asked his teacher, "Master, how can I find enlightenment?" The teacher handed him a broom and said, "Sweep until nothing remain, not even the one who sweeps." Years later, when the monk finally understood, he laughed and cried at once. There was nothing to attain, only everything to let go of. Freedom is spaciousness. Real freedom is spaciousness. a mind wide enough to hold joy and sorrow without breaking. When the cup is big enough, even a few drops of pain cannot overflow into the. Let your awareness expand until every experience fits inside. Then nothing will disturb you because everything belongs. This is why the Buddha's smile is so serene. His heart is vast as the sky. The sound of one drop. Listen closely. When a single drop of tea falls into an empty cup, it sings. The sound exists because of space. Without emptiness, no music, no echo, no life. So it is with us. When we empty ourselves, every experience becomes music. Joy rings clearer, grief resonates deeper, and silence itself becomes a song, the moment of completion. When the scholar finally bowed to the master, he whispered, "Thank you for the lesson." The master replied, "Do not thank me. Thank the cup that taught you." In that moment, both teacher and student disappeared into understanding. There was only tea cooling in the air and the quiet satisfaction of simplicity. That is enlightenment, not fireworks, not miracles, just ordinary life seen through an empty cup. Closing reflection. Empty your cup each morning. Fill it each day with awareness. Pour it out each night with gratitude. This is the rhythm of freedom, the heartbeat of letting go. When you live like this, you no longer chase wisdom, you become wisdom. Emptiness in action. Emptiness is not passivity, it is acting from clarity rather than compulsion. When the cup of the mind is empty, you respond instead of react. Words become gentle, actions precise. A full mind reacts from habit. An empty mind responds from presence. Imagine two mirrors, one covered in dust, one clean. Both reflect, but only the clear one shows the world as it is. Letting go is the art of cleaning the mirror. The burden of memory. Memory is a treasure, but also a trap. We replay old scenes, relive old wounds. We say, "I'll never forget." But what we really mean is, "I'll never stop hurting." To let go of the past is not betrayal. It is forgiveness, an act of compassion for yourself. Each day is new water flowing through the cup. If you keep pouring old tea into it, the water turns bitter. Pour it out. Let the river of life refresh your mind. Silence of a teacher. In silence, the overflowing cup begins to settle. The surface of the mind smooths, and reflection becomes possible. This is why meditation is the heart of Buddhism. It is not about escaping life, it is about seeing it clearly. When you sit, thoughts will come. You don't have to push them away. Just let them rise and fall like waves. The sea never fights its waves, it allows them to come and go. That allowance is wisdom, the teacher within. In the parable, the master pours tea at the but the real master is inside you. Every time you observe your overflowing thoughts, you are both the scholar and the master. The scholar represents the mind filled with craving. The master represents awareness that knows when to stop pouring. Meditation is the moment awareness says, "Enough." The tea stops. Silence returns. When you practice daily, the master within grows stronger, and the scholar begins to listen. The grace of stillness. Stillness is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of total attention. You can be walking, cooking, listening, and still be completely still inside. When the mind is still, it no longer seeks to grasp or reject. It simply rests in awareness. That rest is the natural state of being, the state the Buddha called nirvana, not somewhere else, but right here in the pause between one thought and the next. The empty cup in relationships. When you meet others with a full cup, you cannot truly hear them. You only hear your own opinions echoing back. When you empty your hope, you listen without defense. You see the person before you as they are, not as your mind labels them. This is true compassion, to offer space for another to exist freely. Every relationship heals when at least one person decides to stop overflowing.